Okay, good morning and welcome to Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Kesubos daf pay number 80. I want to talk about a shiloh the Gemara has. The Gemara asks on the bottom of Pem and Aleph, Iboilu, 3 lines from the bottom, Baal Shemachar Karka Leperos Mao. He sold the Karka Leperos. Now, the lashon of this Gemara is interesting because all he owns is the Peiros, right, technically. He sold the Karka Leperos. It sounds like he's selling him the Karka for the Peiros. Now, we said that he only owns the peiros, and we possibly have Rishlakish, Kinan Peiros, Lav Kinan Gufdam. He doesn't own the ground at all, so how could you sell Karka Lepeiros? You should say Machara Peiros. Why is it Karka Lepeiros? So the Gemara suggestion, he owns the peiros, he could sell it. It sounds like he owns it outright, like I suggested in the Iyun Shir on Daf Ayin Tet. Dilma, Kilin Rabban peiros, maybe it's the kind of Rabbana, the Baal, Mishum Ravach Beisa, the Masakin, Mishum Ravach Beisa, Aval, the Zvune Lo. They wanted him to have payroll, so therefore he'll have more money to work with and to appreciate their assets more, so they'll have more money and more money to spend. The wife will have more money to spend for shopping. So sounds like from this second side, it's talking about the Rabban payroll, even though I mentioned it's Del Raisa. The Gemara's Maskana is that he can't sell Karka payros. There's two reasons given. Abayi says the reason is because Shema Taksif, the land is going to go bad if you give it to somebody else. Who's not going to inherit it at the end of the marriage. Rava says Mishum Ravach Beis, like the Gemara says. We pass can presumably like Rava, Mishum Ravach Beis, and the Gemara lists different nafkaminas. See the opinions of Abaye and Rava. We pass can like Abaye now, like Rava. And therefore he can't sell Karka Leperos. Now, sounds like Peros Derabanan. Peros Derabanan. So the problem what I said yesterday, Peros Deraisa. I like to suggest that all Rava is saying over here is that, of course, what does it mean? He makar karka lepeiros, right? Sounds like he owns part of the karka, and like I mentioned in the main shir today, that when the Baal he's kona the peiros, he owns the peiros. He also owns Isha Kagufa. He also owns half of the land. He's a shutaf. Isha Kagufa. They're shutvim in the gufa karka. Shutvim, and that's why if she brings in money to the marriage, he can force her to buy land so that it could appreciate in value. Money goes down in value. Land generally goes up in value. So it could appreciate. The only reason he's able to force her to do that is because he owns half the land. Otherwise, he'd be able to force it. That's why the Gemara says he sells karka lepeiros, because he does own half the land. The Baal owns half the land, and he owns the peiros midal raisa. That's why he can force her to buy karka and peiros. Now, if the marriage dissolves, right, she gets divorced, or he dies, she gets that karka back because he loses the claim to that karka. However, if technically she were to sell it, she's not allowed to sell it. The first Mishnah says she's not allowed to sell. The reason she's not allowed to sell it, right, her sell is void. She can't sell something that doesn't belong to her completely. That's why, that's the understanding why she can't sell something that doesn't belong to her. It doesn't belong to her. That's why the Mishnah says, not like Rangam Liel, in the first Mishnah, Ayin Ches, she can't sell it once she's married because it doesn't belong to her. She's in these days, he owns half the land. He owns the Shutaf. Now, they were Masakin Takana Zusha, that he could be Moti the land. Why did they Masakin Takana Zusha? Technically, she can't sell it. No, the problem is that if technically she wrote a star Mechir and gave it to him, so he had that star. And the Chazaka Mashtach Jalam Reishal Lo. So in order, he has to bring proof that it doesn't belong to the person holding the star. So they made it Takana, that no matter what, he owns the entire thing. He owns half Midar Rice, Midar Abanan, he owns the entire thing. And that's Takana Zusha. But in order to resolve what Rav is saying over here, it seems the Rabban Mishum Ravach Beisa, the answer is no. Of course he owns Peiros Midal Raisa. The question is that the Rabbanan restricted him, the Rabbanan made a takana, that he can't sell the Peiros, right? He can't sell it. Of course he can sell it. He owns half the car. He owns the Peiros Midal Raisa. Why can't he sell it? That's what the second side of this question is, that no, because of Ravach Beisa, they're Masakin. It does say they're Masakin Peiros Takas Perkona. Yes, Midal Raisa, he owns it. But part of the takana, what for her is that because he gets payroll, she gets to be ransomed, and also was a takana for her because he has so much. He has the payroll, half the karka, is that she's guaranteed that he can't sell. That's what the Gemara is telling us. He can't sell those payrolls because we want the wife to have potential to have more money in the house, and the payrolls represent. Land and payrolls represent an opportunity to increase your value, to have real estate, which brings in rent, which brings in fruits, and you can harvest and things like that, and your value of the estate could appreciate a lot. And Mishum Revach Beis, we want the life to live a better life. So there's Peros is Doraisa and Darabanan. Midoraisa belongs to the husband. Midarabanan, they're Masakin Peros, that he owns the Peros Midarabanan, but only in a way that he can't sell them. They limited his ability to own them, and that he can't sell them in order that there should be Revach Beisa. So there was two takanas. The takana of Peros Takas Perakona is that the Peros can't be sold. In addition, she can be ransomed, and to offset the Peros Midoraisa that he's guaranteed. This needs a little further explanation, but I think that's the gist of it. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.